Max Verstappen seems to be on a streak of misfortunes lately, especially after losing 10 points in the title race against Lando Norris just last weekend. In an effort to prevent Norris from claiming victory, Verstappen incurred a hefty 20-second penalty, which ignited a wave of frustration and outrage within the racing community. Just when it appeared that the dust was settling ahead of the final race of this triple header, the drivers have dropped another shocking revelation on him. Can Verstappen bounce back from this, or are his fellow competitors leaving him to fend for himself for the rest of the season? The latest twist came from George Russell, the Mercedes driver, who revealed that 19 out of 20 drivers on the grid are united in their desire to alter the regulations governing Formula One racing, and they're ready to implement changes as soon as today, if necessary. Although he didn't specify any drivers opposing the changes, the racing regulations have been a hot-button issue lately, especially following notable incidents involving Verstappen and Norris during their recent outings in Austin and Mexico City. The latter incident led to Verstappen receiving 2 separate 10-second penalties, adding up to a total of 20 seconds over the weekend. Given this context, it's not surprising to think that Verstappen might be resisting these changes, as he's currently leveraging the rulebook to his advantage. Upcoming discussions regarding proposed modifications to Formula One's racing guidelines for 2025 will take place at a meeting in Qatar later this year. Russell, who is presently the director of the Grand Prix Drivers Association GPDA, the trade union for Formula One drivers, highlighted that the recent events have prompted a strong inclination among drivers for immediate changes this season. He implied that the conditions during the race at Interlagos may reflect this shift, suggesting that those who push the limits may no longer escape with their previous tactics. Russell has been vocal about the urgent need for drivers, stewards, and the FIA to reevaluate the current racing standards, especially in light of the heated clash between Verstappen and Norris at the United States Grand Prix. While speaking in Mexico, where both title contenders face scrutiny for their on-track conduct once again, Russell predicted that the stewards would maintain a strict approach moving forward. He revealed that nearly every driver, except one, is in favor of the stewards adjusting their strategies for penalizing specific incidents right after the Austin race, rather than waiting until 2025 for new regulations to take effect. I believe the stewards are fully aware of what needs to change, Russell expressed. Most of the drivers agreed that if something is incorrect, it should be addressed immediately. I'm pleased to see that the recent incidents were dealt with accordingly. I suspect that in Brazil, what we witnessed today and last week will not be tolerated going forward. While it should be straightforward to enact these changes with a collective agreement, the reality can often be more complex. Approvals and votes can slow down the process, but Russell reassured that nearly all drivers are aligned on the necessary adjustments. Could Verstappen be the lone holdout against these changes? It certainly seems plausible. He's the only one who actively seeks out every loophole to minimize any setbacks during the races. However, as the season progresses, the stakes are rising. Verstappen could be facing a grim situation if Red Bull fails to upgrade their car, and for this year, it appears to be a constant struggle just to secure a podium finish, let alone clinch a race victory. Navigating the complexities of racing can be challenging yet fair, a sentiment echoed by Russell as he reflected on his duel with teammate Lewis Hamilton. Their fierce competition saw Russell fend off Hamilton until the 66th lap, a testament to the intense dynamics between teammates. He also shared his thoughts on the incident involving Norris, criticizing the move at turn 7, where Norris, carrying excessive speed, forced him off the track. Russell likened it to past events, recalling a similar maneuver from Verstappen against Hamilton in Brazil back in 2020-21. It's always exhilarating to battle with Lewis because the racing is both tough and fair, Russell stated. However, what we are witnessing lately has escalated beyond the realm of sportsmanship. It borders on unfairness. The initial incident could be seen as a 6-0-4-0 split, but the most recent occurrence felt unprecedented since that Brazil incident in 2021. These contentious actions on track have led to Verstappen receiving a 20-second penalty and facing dual penalties during the recent Mexico Grand Prix. According to Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff, this ruling will influence the racing strategies of all competitors moving forward. Wolff, having observed Verstappen's frustration firsthand during Hamilton's title chase in 2021, believes that the penalties handed down in Mexico mark a pivotal shift in attitudes among drivers. Drivers will always strive to push their limits, and when the rules or their interpretations favor a specific racing style, a driver like Max will certainly take advantage of it, Wolff explained. He believes that the recent reinterpretation and application of these regulations will fundamentally alter the way drivers compete in the future. Wolff emphasizes that enforcing the rule requiring drivers to leave space for their competitors on the outside is crucial for maintaining quality racing. Drivers are acutely aware of the dynamics at play, he noted. When someone applies the brakes too late, dragging you into the corner and pushing you wide, it's clear from our early karting days that you won't succeed on the outside unless you're ahead. The rules are well defined, and all drivers understand that pushing boundaries is part of the game. If someone manages to circumvent these rules, that becomes the new benchmark for what is acceptable. Will this lead to changes? Absolutely, Wolff asserted. I believe the decision made by the stewards was a sound one, setting a clear precedent that aggressive driving will no longer be tolerated. Imposing a significant penalty of 20 seconds serves as the right example to deter such behavior in the future. He continued, stating that now there is a standard in place, and other drivers will likely face penalties as well. Moving forward, it's imperative that drivers leave adequate space on the outside of corners, especially if another car is alongside them. Braking late while forcing another car off the track is no longer permissible, Wolff added, indicating that this change is beneficial for the sport. While Wolff believes that the competitive environment is improving, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has expressed concerns. He worries that the current rulings might encourage drivers to cling to the outside line for too long. Historically, overtaking on the outside was a reward for the bold, Horner remarked. Now, we risk upending the rules of overtaking, where drivers might merely try to get their nose ahead at the apex and then demand space on the exit. The ongoing narrative around Verstappen highlights that while he often stays within the rules, these regulations weren't crafted for the kind of racing we're witnessing today. It's become apparent that Verstappen is exploiting loopholes almost every weekend. When his car was one of the fastest on the grid, he didn't rely on such tactics. However, as it now ranks as the third or fourth quickest, he finds himself needing to maximize every opportunity to maintain or gain positions. The pressing question looms: will these regulations undergo changes in the upcoming race weekend? Or are we set to witness more reckless driving in Brazil, particularly with the potential for rain adding to the unpredictability? If the rules remain unchanged this season, can Verstappen preserve his lead in the championship standings? With every race, the stakes continue to rise, and the pressure mounts on the drivers to perform under scrutiny. As the season approaches its climax, how each competitor adapts to the evolving rules and racing environment could significantly influence the outcome of the championship. The anticipation is palpable, and fans are left wondering whether Verstappen can navigate the challenges ahead or if he will succumb to the mounting pressure from both his rivals and the regulations that govern the sport. As the Brazilian Grand Prix approaches, the tension among drivers is building. Each competitor is acutely aware that the implications of their actions on the track could have far-reaching consequences, not just for themselves but for the championship as a whole. With the weather forecast hinting at rain, the unpredictability of the race adds an extra layer of complexity to the already high-stakes environment. Many are eager to see how Verstappen will handle the pressure, especially given his recent struggles. The scrutiny he faces is immense. Every move he makes will be dissected by fans and pundits alike. In this critical phase of the season, the decisions made by the stewards and the subsequent adaptations by the drivers could redefine the dynamics of the championship battle. Meanwhile, the rest of the grid is eager to capitalize on any missteps. Rivals are keenly watching Verstappen's every maneuver, looking for weaknesses to exploit. The upcoming race could serve as a turning point, not only for Verstappen's title hopes but also for how racing will be approached in the future. With discussions about potential regulatory changes in the air, the drivers are not just racing for points, they're racing to shape the future of Formula One itself. The spotlight will undoubtedly be on Verstappen as he tries to maintain his dominance while navigating the shifting landscape of the rules and expectations from the FIA and fellow competitors. It remains to be seen whether he can adapt swiftly enough to maintain his lead, or if he will find himself grappling with the consequences of the sport's evolving nature. As race day in Brazil draws near, the atmosphere is charged with anticipation. Fans, teams, and drivers alike are poised to witness how the unfolding drama will play out on the circuit. With the possibility of rain adding to the uncertainty, the stakes couldn't be higher. Each driver understands that this race is not just about speed, it's about strategy, resilience, and the ability to adapt to rapidly changing conditions. For Verstappen, the pressure is particularly intense. After facing penalties and scrutiny in recent races, he knows that a misstep could jeopardize not only his championship lead but also his reputation within the sport. The eyes of the racing world will be on him, and the expectation to perform is immense. Can he maneuver through the challenges both on and off the track and emerge victorious in Brazil? As the season nears its conclusion, the outcomes of these races will shape the narrative of not just this year, but the future of Formula One itself. Discussions around racing regulations and driver conduct are set to intensify, and the decisions made in the heat of competition will resonate long after the checkered flag has waved. In this unpredictable world of Formula One, where every second counts and every move is scrutinized, the upcoming Brazilian Grand Prix race promises to be a pivotal moment. Will Verstappen rise to the occasion, or will the pressure of the championship and the evolving rules prove too much? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the drama of Formula One is far from over, and the racing world is in for an exhilarating ride.